Insurance companies are not going to just hand you money because you've been in a car accident. You are going to have to put in the work to prove your case. I know this for a fact. You see, early on in my career, I defended injury claims in court on behalf of insurance companies. I got a behind-the-scenes look at how insurance companies try to minimize the settlement for car accident injury victims. If you play your cards right, though, you can win big, even if you don't have a broken bone, have a brain injury, or sustained an injury where you needed a surgery. Let me tell you the story of my past clients, Allison and Brian. Allison and Brian were a younger couple, in their 20s at the time of their motor vehicle accident. They were stopped waiting to make a left turn when a car slammed into the rear of their vehicle. Liability against the other driver was clear, and the other driver's insurance company accepted liability for the accident. Allison experienced neck pain, back pain, forehead pain, and bruising, abdomen and chest bruising from her seatbelt, and tightness in her hips. She was transported by the ambulance to the hospital where diagnostic testing was performed, and she was prescribed a muscle relaxer and then discharged. Shortly after that, she then began physical therapy and pain management treatment. She eventually had an MRI on her low back, which revealed a small disc herniation at L4-5. Allison missed a total of 15 days of work due to her accident, meaning we could claim in her injury claim the lost wages from those days she missed from work as a result of her injuries. Allison continued her treatment, but ultimately treated for a little less than 2 months before completing her treatment. Brian experienced back pain, neck pain, bruising, and abdominal pain as a result of the accident. He was also transported by ambulance to the hospital where diagnostic testing was performed, and he was prescribed a muscle relaxer and discharged. He also began physical therapy and pain management treatment shortly after his wreck. He also had an MRI completed on his low back, which revealed a disc herniation at L5-S1. He had to treat a little bit longer than Allison, though. He finished up his treatment 3 months following the accident. Brian was forced to miss a month and a half from work as a result of the accident. Their herniated discs were on the smaller side, with both of them having herniated disc of about 2 millimeters. However, it was crucial both of them got the MRIs on their low back, as it was the evidence of them sustaining a herniated disc, even small ones, that was going to allow us to maximize their settlements. Once they completed medical treatment, I sent a written demand package to the other driver's insurance company demanding that they pay out their driver's insurance policy limits. Guess what? My demand worked. The other driver agreed to pay out the insurance policy limits. The other driver had a $50,000 per person, $100,000 per accident insurance policy. This means the most any person could get under the policy is $50,000, and the most collectively all claimants could get under the policy is $100,000. Since my clients were the only claimants, that meant they each got $50,000 under the policy, but we weren't done yet. See, Allison had underinsured motorist insurance coverage on the vehicle she owned that her and Brian occupied at the time of the accident. This meant we could file a claim under this insurance policy as well for the additional damages they sustained over and above the other driver's insurance policy limits. So I sent a demand package to the underinsured motorist insurer as well. After some negotiations back and forth, I was finally able to settle those claims as well. At the end of the day, Allison's case settled for over $70,000, and Brian's case settled for over $75,000 after the underinsured motorist claims settled. The key in their case was that they got MRIs on their low back, which showed the herniated disc. Even though they did not have to have surgery, did not break a bone, and were never diagnosed with a brain injury, they still were able to get a fair settlement. While it is of course the case that if they would have had to have surgery, had a broken bone, or a brain injury, their settlement would have been higher. We are of course glad they were not injured to that extent. Brian and Allison went through a difficult couple of months following their accident. Thankfully, Allison had purchased underinsured motorist insurance coverage on her vehicle. I tell all my clients and anyone I know that the best coverage you can purchase on your automobile policies is uninsured motorist coverage to protect you when you are in a wreck with an at-fault driver that has no insurance or a hit-and-run driver, and also underinsured motorist insurance, which protects you when the at-fault driver does not have enough insurance coverage to cover all your damages, like in Brian and Allison's case. By purchasing underinsured motorist coverage, Allison made sure her and Brian were able to settle their case for over and above the at-fault driver's insurance policy limits. The thing is, just because you have a car accident injury case valued at over and above the other driver's insurance policy limits does not mean the other driver's insurance company is going to offer you the policy limits. In order to get the insurance company to pay the policy limits, it is often the case that you must put pressure on the other driver's insurance company to do so. And in this video about to pop up here, I'll tell you 6 ways you can put pressure on the insurance company to possibly get them to pay out the insurance policy limits in your case. Lastly, if you've been injured in a car accident, slip or trip and fall incident, or dog attack incident in Kentucky, remember to don't wait, call Tate.